It was a cold autumn evening when Detective Emma Hale received the call. The small, quiet town of Black Hollow was known for its peace, its charming streets, and its tight-knit community. So when a body was discovered in the abandoned Rookwell Mansion, it sent ripples through the town that no one had ever expected. Something had changed in Black Hollow. Emma, a seasoned detective, arrived as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the decaying mansion. The house had been empty for years. No one had dared step foot inside after the tragic death of the Rookwell family over a decade ago. But now, it was the site of another inexplicable death. The air smelled of damp earth, and something more. She was used to death, used to the dark side of human nature, but this was different. There was an eerie stillness in the air, a tension that made her skin crawl. Inside, the house was in disarray. Papers were scattered on the floor, and a broken chandelier hung from the ceiling, its crystals glistening in the dim light. But then, she saw it. A man, probably in his early 40s, lay in the center of the grand living room. There was no blood, no obvious injuries, just a cold, unsettling stillness. Officer Williams was already there, his face pale and grim. He led her to the far corner of the room, where a strange sight awaited. Something that didn't belong in a simple crime scene. On the wall, in faded red paint, were the words, "The past always returns." Emma's eyes narrowed. The words seemed deliberate, a message from the shadows. Who found him? A local named Jacob Pierce. He saw something in the window, but the more Emma looked at the scene, the less it felt like a simple murder. This was a warning. Emma felt the hairs on the back of her neck rise. It was as if the house was watching her, waiting for her to unravel its secrets. This case was tied to the very foundation of Black Hollow, to a darkness that had been buried for too long. Every corner of the Rookwell Mansion whispered of old sins and forgotten names. She wasn't just solving a murder, she was dismantling a decade of silence. The truth was there, hidden behind the decay, waiting for the right moment to strike back. Emma Hale was about to uncover something far darker than anyone in this town could have ever imagined. The past hadn't just returned, it had never left. Welcome to Ghostly Crimes, the channel where history isn't just remembered, it's still breathing. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. Drop your theories in the comments, because conversation matters, accountability matters, and silence is often the most dangerous thing of all. Welcome to Ghostly Crimes, the channel where history isn't just remembered, it's still breathing. Tonight's story is not breaking news, it's breaking reality. The days following the discovery of the body were filled with confusion and unease. Black Hollow was a town gripped by a fear it hadn't felt in decades. Emma spent her nights combing through the records at the local library, trying to piece together the history of Rookwell Mansion. She knew there was more to the story. Black Hollow was a town steeped in history, some good, but most of it buried in the past. Rookwell Mansion had always been the town's enigma, and now it seemed like it was pulling everyone back into its twisted grip. The mansion, Emma discovered, had been built in the early 1900s by the Rookwell family, whose wealth was as mysterious as the house itself. The family had been well respected in the town, but their sudden and violent death had shocked everyone to the core. A fire had consumed the mansion one night, claiming the lives of Arthur Rookwell and his wife Elizabeth, along with their 2 young children. The cause of the fire had never been determined, but rumors swirled for years about the family's dark dealings. Strange whispers about ancient rituals and blood oaths that might have been tied to their sudden immense wealth. But when the townspeople spoke of the Rookwells, they would always fall silent, as if afraid to speak too much, as if the name itself carried a curse. It wasn't just the Rookwells. There had been a string of strange disappearances over the years, people gone missing after visiting the mansion. People seen in its vicinity, never to be seen again. No one had dared to go near the house in over a decade. Not since the last disappearance. But now, the discovery of another body was enough to reignite the town's oldest fear. Emma returned to the mansion the next morning, determined to find out what was really going on. The sun was barely up. The imposing structure cast long, menacing shadows. She knew it was something important, something that had been waiting for her. As she walked up to the front door, Officer Williams met her at the threshold, holding a folder. "Detective, we found something," he said. "A diary." "It's from one of the Rookwells," he told her. "We found it hidden in a small compartment in the study, buried under some floorboards." She followed him past the grand staircase and into the dimly lit study. He handed her the worn, leather-bound diary. The edges of the pages were yellowed with age. She flipped it open carefully, the crinkling of the paper echoing in the silence. The first entry was dated just a few weeks before the fire, October 15th, 1921. Emma's heart began to race as she read the words. "I can feel the house shifting. It's as if it is alive, breathing with every creak of the floorboards," the diary read. "I hear whispers at night, low and soft, coming from the walls. Arthur doesn't believe me. He says it's just the wind. But I know it's not. Something is waking up inside these walls. Something dark. Something hungry." Emma's fingers traced the ink as she read, her stomach tightening. There was more, much more, about strange rituals and a pact made by the Rookwell family in exchange for their fortune. The diary spoke of sacrifices and binding oaths to an older power. And, most chilling of all, it mentioned the words Emma had seen on the wall in blood. "The past always returns." It was a warning. The more she read, the more it became clear. The Rookwells had not died by accident. They had been chosen. They were a tribute. The mansion was no ordinary house. It was a vessel, a prison, a gateway to something far more terrifying, a gateway that was opening. And Emma realized with a sinking heart that the past had never left. It had only been waiting for someone to find the key. She snapped the diary shut, her mind racing. The body, the message, the rituals, it was all connected. But who had left that message, and why now? As Emma stood there, the house seemed to groan around her, as if in response to her thoughts. The air felt colder, biting at her skin, and for the briefest of moments, she could have sworn she heard a faint whisper, a voice coming from the very foundations of the house. "You are not alone." Emma turned, but there was no one there, only the house and the secrets it was finally ready to share. Rookwell Mansion is more than a landmark. It's a warning. If you value news that respects your intelligence and doesn't hide behind talking points, then stay with us. Subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you won't miss a single update. Drop your instructions or questions in the comments. We read and reply to everyone. Stay informed. Stay sharp. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome to Ghostly Crimes, the channel where history isn't just remembered, it's still breathing. Tonight, the town of Rookwell is buzzing with a discovery that defies logic. The discovery of a hidden diary has only deepened the mystery. Strange happenings around the Rookwell Mansion are increasing, and people are terrified. Some say the curse has returned. But Emma wasn't one for superstition. She believed in facts and evidence. Yet, a growing sense of dread was becoming impossible to ignore. She spent days digging deeper into the mansion's history. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly starting to fit together. It wasn't just the Rookwells who were affected. In the late hours, Emma came across something that made her pause. A police report from years ago, buried in the archives, about a woman named Clara who vanished. Clara was a friend of the family, last seen entering the mansion on the night of the fire. She was never seen again until now. A new lead had emerged. The report mentioned something chilling. Clara was last seen near the basement of the mansion, where the Rookwells kept a hidden room that no one dared enter. The basement. Emma knew she had to go there. The following morning, she gathered a small team of officers and made her way back to the decaying Rookwell Mansion. As they approached, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. It was as if the house itself was aware of their presence, echoing a warning. Inside, their footsteps were muted by layers of dust. Emma led them to the basement door, hidden behind rotting bookshelves. It creaked with a sound like a scream. The stairs descended into darkness. The only light came from their flashlights. The deeper they went, the colder it became, as if they were sinking into the house's soul. At the bottom, they found it. A small, locked door. With a soft click, it opened to reveal a hidden chamber unlike anything Emma had ever seen. And then she saw it. A portrait of the Rookwell family. But their faces were distorted, mouths open in silent screams. And standing in the shadows behind them was Clara. Clara's eyes were hollow, her expression twisted. Written across the bottom in blood were the words, "The blood must never stop." The curse had never ended. The Rookwells had made an unholy agreement with something ancient and evil. Now, the house was calling back those who once lived there. The cycle was beginning again. Emma was in deeper than she ever imagined, trapped in a web of darkness spun long before she arrived. But there was no turning back now. The truth was in that room. She would uncover it, no matter the cost. The investigation into the Rookwell ritual had only just begun, and the town would never be the same. Tonight's story is not breaking news, it's breaking reality. We're not skimming headlines, we're dismantling them. This is the truth the world tries to hide. If you value news that respects your intelligence and doesn't hide behind talking points, then stay with us. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you won't miss a single update. Drop your instructions or questions in the comments. We read and reply to everyone. Your voice matters in this investigation. Let us know what you think of the Rookwell case. Stay informed, stay sharp, because silence is often the most dangerous thing of all. I'm Nicholas, and I'll see you in the next one. The exit is gone. We are trapped in the darkness beneath Rookwell Mansion. But the real horror is just beginning to unfold. The grimoires revealed the truth. The Rookwells didn't just build this house. They constructed a cage for something that should have remained forgotten. The Hollow One is not a ghost. It is an ancient, hungry force summoned by a pact made in blood over a century ago. Every generation of Rookwells paid the price. But now, with the bloodline ended, the contract is broken, and the entity is no longer bound. It's moving. Not in the shadows, but as the shadow itself. We can hear the whispers again, louder now, calling us by name. We have to find a way to reseal the chamber before the darkness consumes the entire town. But the instructions are missing. The clock is ticking. Stay tuned as we search for the final key. I'm Nicholas, and this is Ghostly Crimes.